Kelly Martin now discusses the importance of coaches and mentors. She provides us with insights into what the desired characteristics should be for both the wildland firefighter who is being coached, as well as for the coach. Kelly starts by describing her relationship with Morgan Beveridge, her supervisor on the Payette National Forest in the early 1990s.
He was my supervisor on the Payette in 1991 and 92. He is personally motivated by seeing others succeed. The staff that he supervises, it's more important for him to see the successes in his subordinates than it is for him to basically do his job. So I came back from Reading Hotshot Detail in 91. Absolutely loved the assignment. It was loved the crew cohesion, but when I came back, I was starting to work on my crew boss task book. And so I had this concept, after having this experience with the Reading Hotshots, that this is how you run a crew. And so the organization, the discipline, the standards, I set very high for production, cohesion. I was pushing it too hard, and Morgan was kind enough to sit me down and say, it's a type 2 crew. They're not a hotshot crew. They're not going to perform as a hotshot crew. Although your efforts are laudable, you have to come back to reality to know that these folks don't normally do fire, because it was a mix of fire and resource folks. And that, I remember thinking, he was motivated by telling me something that I was doing that I could do better with. But I had to be receptive to something that initially hurts, because you think you're doing the right thing. And until someone tells you, we tend to keep going down that path of doing what we think is right until someone tells us differently. I think most of the people in fire, at least the people that I work with, are truly driven by a deep passion for what they do. And everybody responds to feedback differently. Some just don't even want to hear about how they make decisions or the decisions that they make. People honestly believe that they're making the right decisions, and they're just not open to, maybe I am doing something that rubs a raw nerve, or but by God, I'm going to keep working based on my personal beliefs and principles. And all of a sudden, we find ourselves circling the drain, and we wonder why. And so at some point, we really have to, when you find yourself so frustrated, at some point, we have to say, wipe the slate clean. Something's not working here. I love what I do. I'm committed to what I do, but my supervisors, I might be getting a marginal performance rating. No one's truly opening that window of discovery for me, but I wasn't ready for it. This idea of opening this window, actually, I can't remember when it actually first happened, but I think when you start your career, you do the Myers-Briggs thing, and there's lots of different assessments, if you will, on what your likes and dislikes are, and how you relate and interact with people. And I remember one opportunity where it was this window, what you know about yourself that everybody else knows, what you know about yourself that no one else knows. But the window that really fascinated me the most was those things that everybody else knows about me that I don't know. And so that's, I guess, that window that I'm talking about, that has the potential, even though it's pretty small, we think, if we're really good with situational awareness, it should be small. If we're really not aware of ourselves and how we behave and interact with other people, that window can be big. That people think about you, that you have no clue. But the opportunities to grow, stretch, enrich your management style, if you will, happens by opening up that window and saying, and getting that feedback. And so I think that's probably the first step as an individual that we have to recognize, that we do things that other people see about us that we don't necessarily see.
David Garvin's book, Learning in Action, has proved to be one of the best manuals for learning how to create an effective learning organization. David Garvin teaches at the Harvard Business School and has studied how various organizations, including the U.S. Army, successfully learn. In his book, Learning in Action, he discusses simple techniques for achieving this learning, including thorough after-action reviews. Garvin discusses 3 major building blocks that an organization must have in place to ensure successful learning. As Garvin points out, a successful leader must set the tone and does so by creating reflective routines where challenge and dissent are welcomed, supporting and providing security for people when they speak out, and providing an overall culture that actively supports and promotes open communication. When leading discussions, Garvin explains how our leaders must always be open to new perspectives and also be aware of their own personal biases. Garvin also talks about the importance of fostering a sense of humility, an understanding that leaders, including the organization itself, can never have all the answers. Complete a quick audit of your organization using David Garvin's 3 points. How do you and the organization you work for measure up as a learning organization? What do you do well? What could be improved on?